Hello, 8th graders. So this worksheet is your extension worksheet where once again we're working on a little bit more challenging problems than you've seen in class. We're going to continue doing decimals on videos for the rest of this week, even though we're doing scientific notation up front. So let's look at this first one. In this problem, I have two operations going on. What are the two operations? Yeah, I have multiplication here, here, and here. And then I also have this fraction bar, which means division. So I have two operations that I need to figure out. So first I'm going to look and see if there's anything in my numerator that I can combine together. Remember, I can only combine terms with exponents if what is the same. Yeah, if the base is the same. Are any of my bases in the numerator the same? No, they're not. Are any of my bases in the denominator the same? No, they're not. So what I'm going to try doing is first expanding. We're going to learn an easier way to solve these problems, but because it's our first tricky problem, we're going to expand it. So I'll have 2 times A times A times A times B, 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 expand this on your paper, over B 5 times, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1A. So I know that if I have a number or a variable over that same variable, it'll equal 1. So B here, that equals 1. So I can cross them out. B over B equals 1. B over B equals 1. B over B equals 1. I'm left with 1B down here. A over A equals 1. So what am I left with in my denominator? I'm left with a 2 as well as 2 A's, or A to the second power. A to the second power can also be called what? Yeah, A squared. So we have 2A squared in my numerator. Then I also have a B. Am I going to write the B here? No, my B is in my denominator, so I'm going to write the B down here. All right, now I have my B in my denominator. Is there any other way that I could write this problem? I could also write this B as 2A squared B to the negative first power, because B to the negative first power is the same thing as 1 over B. All right, so we already know my answer. It's 2A squared B to the negative 1. I'm going to look back at this problem and see if there's an easier way to do it. I see that I ended up with A squared over here. I had A cubed, A to the first power. I ended up with B to the negative first power over here. I had 4 over 5. So the other way you can do this is just by using your quotient rule, law of exponents, and do 2A to the 3 minus 1, B to the 4 minus 5. You're subtracting the exponents that have the same base, and you'll get the same thing, 2A squared, B to the negative first power. All right, so now for this next one that we proved the quotient rule in the last one, we're just going to use it in this one instead of expanding. So here I have x to the 4th, here I have x squared, so I'll have x to the 4 minus 2. But what am I going to put in front of that x? What is my coefficient, or the numbers that go in front of my variable? I think it's just 10. Is that right? No, because then where do I put my 2? So because I've already simplified this part right here to become that, but I still have a 2 in my denominator. So it's actually 10 over 2 times x to the 4 minus 2. So now we have 10 over 2 x to the second power, which is the same as what? X squared. Is there any other way that I can write this? Think back to 5th grade when you guys learned all about fractions. You can simplify this fraction because this fraction bar is the same as what? Yeah, division. So you can divide 10 divided by 2, and this will be the same as 5x squared. So when you simplify it, you get 5x squared. This next problem starts to get a little tricky because we're trying to figure out what can we put in this blank so that when these two terms are multiplied together, we'll get 4x to the fourth y. So what can go in that blank? I'm going to remember my product rule because we're multiplying. When you multiply exponents with the same base, what do? Yeah, you add the exponents. So I see over here, let's start with my x's, that I need to get to x to the fourth. I have x cubed. What can I add to 3 to get to 4? Right, I can add 1. So I'm going to add 1 more x to get to x to the fourth power over there. But what else am I missing on this side of the equation? I'm also missing a y. So I need to have 1 y on this side. Finally, the last thing I'm missing is my 4. So I need to add a 4. So what goes in my blank is 4yx. Because that's what I need to multiply x cubed by to get to 4x to the fourth y. Let's just simplify this and see if we get the same thing to double check. So the only two things that have the same base are my x's. When I multiply with the same base, what do? Right, I add the exponents. So I have 4yx to the fourth. That's the same as this. My variables are just switched around, but it's all multiplication, so you can switch the terms around. The last problem that we're going to do together says, which of the following are equivalent to this expression? What is the first thing I do when I see a problem like this, where the expression I'm given is not simplified? Yeah, I need to simplify the expression. So we're going to look at this expression and try and simplify it as much as possible. First, I'm going to look at my numbers. Do I have any numbers in my numerator? Yeah, I have my 3. Do I have any numbers in my denominator? No. So all I'm going to be left with is 3 over 1, which you can just write as 3. All right. So now I'm going to look at my x's. And remember, we're doing the quotient rule because fractions mean what? Yeah, fractions mean division. When we divide exponents with the same base, what do? We subtract the exponents. So I have x, and my first term is 2. I need to do 2 minus my x's on the bottom because I'm subtracting my exponents. And then I have y. Up top I have 3, doing minus 2. And then I need to simplify this even more by doing my subtraction. So I have 3x, 2 minus 5 equals what? Negative 3. Y, 3 minus 2 equals what? 1. So I have 3x to the negative third power, y to the first power, which is the same as just y. So I'm going to go through and see if I can find any others that match this. I see immediately B matches. I can look at these two and see, okay, this is the same. The only difference is my exponent isn't positive. So this is not correct because those are not equal. I see 3x to the 7th, y to the 5th. It's not correct. All right, so now I just have one left that I need to figure out. Is this the same thing as that? So I remember negative exponents tells me to do what? Yeah, I have to turn my x into a fraction. So I can rewrite this as 3 times 1 over x cubed times y. If I multiply that all out by making my terms all fractions, put them over 1, I'll have 3 times 1, which is 3 times y, so 3 times y. And in my denominator, I'll have 1 times x cubed times 1, so just x cubed. So this can be rewritten as 3y over x cubed. So the answers are A and B. All right, go ahead and solve the rest of the worksheet independently. I will be going over the answers, but you need to solve them on your own first. So go ahead and try the next problem. This next problem, we're simplifying this. You can do it two ways. You could have expanded it or you could have used your quotient rule. I'm going to do it using the quotient rule because it's simpler. So first I'm going to look at my numbers because we're going to take those out first. So I'll have 4 over 2. I still have my 2 in my denominator. Now I look at my x's. Up top I have x squared, and the bottom I have x to the second power. We're dividing, so we're subtracting. And then the last one I have my y's. So I'll do y 5 minus 6. I can simplify 4 minus 2 to get 2. Simplify x to the 2 minus 1 to get x. Then I'll have y to the negative first power. This can also be written as 2x over y. Go ahead, try the next problem. This next problem, you do the same thing. Take out my numbers first. I'll have 12 over 4. Then I look at my a's. Up top I have 3, bottom I have 2, so I'll do 3 minus 2. With my b's, all I have is b to the 4th power up top. All right, so then I can simplify this part more to get 12 over 4. It's the same thing as division, so I get 3, a to the 1st power, b to the 4th, which is the same thing as 3a, b to the 4th power. Go ahead, you have 2 more problems on the back. Try the next problem. All right, now that you've given it a shot, let's go over the answer. First thing we'll do, take out our numbers. We have 8 over 2. Now for my m's, I have m to the 1st power minus 2, and then I have n to the 3 minus 3. So when I simplify my numbers, I'll get 4. My m's, I'll get -1, and my n's, I'll get 0. Anything raised to the 0 power is what? Yeah, it's just 1. So you'll get 4 m to the negative 1st power, which is the same thing as 4 over m. You could have also done this by expanding and crossing out your terms. Go ahead, try the next problem. The correct answer to this problem was E. The reason for that is because first, if you're looking at your numbers, you're trying to get to 3. You have 5 in the denominator, and fraction means division. So you need to think, what divided by 5 will get me 3? Answer is 15. Now for your x's, you have 2 x's in your denominator, but you have 0 x's over here. So that means in this fraction, all of the x's have to cancel out. In order for them to cancel out, I need the same amount on top as I do on the bottom. So I have 15x squared. And finally, my y's. When I need something that'll give me y to the something over y cubed equals y squared. I know that when I'm dividing, I subtract my exponents. So what minus 3 gives me 2? And the answer is 5. So I have y to the 5th power, which gets you answer E. All right, go ahead and give yourself a grade for how you did on the worksheet, and then go on to Khan Academy or SC Math.